Hello guys and welcome to another episode of Football Fanden UK. Welcome, and I hope you guys are having an absolutely awesome day. Thank you very much for joining me, and today we're going to talk about the football club's revenues, kind of money that's being pumped into the Premier League, the Champions League, etc. Before we get stuck into that, I just wanted to point out that basically a little bit about the channel, because I did say in the last video that I would touch on that. And today's topic is actually to get across to you guys a little bit of the direction of sort of the fact of the way the channel's going to go. I don't want to, upset any clubs or upset any, rich people or big owners or whatever, do you know what I mean, with plenty of money pumping into the respective clubs, because that's all good for fans to see the money being pumped into the clubs, with respect to wealthy owners and what have you. But I want to talk about how the channel's going to go. Is basically it's going to be about fans. Because I think we've got enough fan channels out there that's doing great stuff. Don't get me wrong, they're doing absolutely, cracking stuff about particular clubs or leagues or whatever. I'm not criticising them guys in that respect, but I think one or two of them are forgetting that they have got the name fan written in their channel. And for me, I think that is where, if they're going to play it safe, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with playing it safe. And especially in this day and age of political correctness, shall we say. But if you're going to make a fan channel and you're going to put the name fan in it, then in my opinion, you should be representing more the fans. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't talk about the club in a positive way. Obviously, all fans want to hear, people talking about their club in a positive way. And on the fan, on Football Fanden UK, we intend to talk about clubs as positively as possible. So don't think just because I'm pointing this fact out that means, we're going to slaughter clubs and this, that and the other, because we're not. That's not the intention of the channel. The reason I'm making this point is because, as I said earlier, the word fan is you guys. Do you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if people are making fan channels and they're putting the word fan in it, they should be representing the fans, because they're calling it a fan channel. So obviously I'm not saying I'm going to get it bang on right absolutely every time I make a video. I'm sure I'm going to get me critics. I'm sure I'm going to get people that's criticise me and say, oh, well, he says this, says that, and then he contradicts himself. I'll be honest with you guys, as much as I possibly can. I probably will at some point during making videos further down the line, or even some of my early videos, I'll probably make a mistake and make myself look like an absolute idiot and criticise the wrong thing or whatever, or word it the wrong way. So, but I'll be the first to admit it, guys. I ain't one of these people that's gonna, tell you one thing and then say another. Do you know what I mean? I will be, if I say something and I've spoke out of turn. If I agree with it and I think I've spoke out of turn, I'll be the first to admit it. Do you know what I mean? So, like I said, I just don't want people to get the wrong impression before we even get off the mark. But like I said, a fan channel should be about the fans. So yeah, basically, now I've got that bit off my chest. We can crack on with it. I wanted to talk about the revenue, the revenues that clubs are making, and it's all good. It's great that some of our great clubs within the UK is making, shall we say, astronomical amounts of money, which is great for the clubs to help them grow. It's great for the leagues to help the league grow, and it's great for us as fans to see, that our club is quite wealthy and can, respective whichever fan you are or what club you're supporting, that your club is in a very strong financial position. And that's absolutely awesome for us as fans. We all want to see that. We want to see our clubs in a financially stable position. The reason I want to talk about this today is because some of the money, and believe me guys, I've been doing the research today and a little bit yesterday, And I have been absolutely stunned because I knew that there was a lot of money being pumped into the Premier League, into the Champions League. We all do as fans. If you know, if you're open minded enough to look at the bigger picture, and you know, don't get me wrong, we're all loyal to our clubs, and I respect that all the way. But sometimes you do get occasional fans that don't want to take their glasses off, i.e. whatever club they are. I'm not going to name any clubs because I don't want people that, you know, oh, well, you're having a pop at my club. So I'm not going to name any clubs. But we all like to have our positive attitude towards our club, no matter who's speaking, no matter what they're saying. You want to hear whether it's pundits, whether it's TV companies, whether it's fan channels, whoever it is, whether it's just the public, whether it's just a debate in the pub, guys. You know what I mean? We all want to hear people speaking positively about our clubs. But unfortunately, as we know in football, sometimes a club needs a bit of criticism. If it's, you know, if it's not doing things right, it needs to be criticised. And as fans, we have the right to do that because you guys are the ones pumping all the money into these clubs. It's all right then the club's saying, oh, well, it's the TV money that keeps us going. Yeah, but why are they getting the TV money? Because of you guys. You guys are the ones that are the reason why these TV companies are wanting to invest massive amounts of money into the Football League of England, Scotland, Spain, Germany, wherever in Europe or the world for that matter. They are ploughing the money in. It's because of you guys. It's because you're supporting the fan. You as a fan are supporting that club, or a club, should I say. So yeah, so the reason I want to touch on this particular issue today is because, like I said, I've done some research for you guys to bring this to your attention, and I'm sure I don't need to bring it to your attention because I'm sure you guys are absolutely well aware of the vast amounts of money, particularly in the Premier League, that is you know being chucked about now is absolutely crazy. It's absolutely astronomical amounts of money, like we've never seen before. And don't get me wrong, guys, as fans, you know, it's awesome sometimes to see a headline, you know, X club spends X amount of money on X player. You know, that's absolutely awesome because it's bragging rights, isn't it? You could say, oh, my club can go and pay this for this player. You know, it's bragging rights. So it's, you know, in that way, it can be a positive thing. But, and this is where it comes to the crucial point of you guys, when we are seeing clubs getting ludicrous amounts of money, yeah, and it is ludicrous because the sums of money now that is going through these clubs and through the leagues is astronomical. It's beyond comprehension to some of us, to most of us, in fact, because most of us will never ever even see, you know, a pittance of that sort of money in our lifetime. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, as fans, as I said, we're all chuffed to see that money being pumped into our respective clubs. But the point I wish to make today is that I don't think that wealth is being always spent correctly. And I'm going to give you a little bit of an example. I am not going to give you loads of figures today. I'm not going to chuck loads of stats at you. We're just going to talk about how it's, you know, roughly, as a fan, from a fan's point of view, how it's being used, how these clubs are investing that money back into the club or back into football or whatever. So, as an example, and this is an example, guys, and it's only estimated because I don't want to get accused of misquoting or whatever, I did some research and I'm going to just chuck a little bit at you now. About season 2015-16. Now, in 2016, I found some information on the internet this morning with regards to this, saying that apparently estimated Premier League revenues rose in that particular season by 9%, right? So it rose by 9%, right? But here's the interesting facts, right? That more than half of the money in that season that clubs spent went on how do you call it now? Let me pick the correct wording. On wages. So that could be player wage, it could be staff wage, it could be management, it could be I don't know. I don't know exactly what it incorporates, guys. You know, it could even be that the owners taking their bit. I don't know exactly how they work these figures out. So that's why I'm not going to get stuck on too many figures. But in that season, apparently clubs, or particularly Premier League clubs, spent more than half of their money on wages. Now, that's fine, don't get me wrong. But as has just been highlighted in some of the media reports, and I don't want to misquote this, but as I understand it, there is a number of top clubs within the Premier League still paying minimum wage to the staff that's working behind the scenes. You know, whether it's the tea lady or the groundsman. I don't know exactly who these staff are. You know, that's why we're going to talk broadly about this particular subject. But some of the staff working in these clubs, in these big, wealthy clubs, making massive amounts of money, are still on minimum wage. And yet then you have players getting paid £350,000 a week. I mean, where's the balance? Do you know what I mean? And the reason I highlight this is because if the clubs are making vast amounts of money, yeah, and they are, you know, don't get me wrong, it's great for them to be able to use it, to have that financial strength. But this is where the question comes: are they spending it wisely? And the reason I point that out is because since I've noticed it, I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but since the money has come in, the new excuse my wording, the new broadcasting revenue, shall we say, has come into the Premier League. Then basically, I know recent seasons, we've noticed a number of clubs up in their wage bill. And when I say up in the wage bill, I mean for players. They're starting to give players ludicrous contracts, and just to keep them, because they're scared to lose them. Now, I'm not being funny, but if you make your club is making a ludicrous amount of money, where's the ticket price? Why does that not drop? Or why does the price of a pie not drop in the stadium, or a price of a pint? And this is my issue. This is where the clubs are taking you guys as fans for granted. They are not passing on the fact that they are making a lot more money than they were 4 or 5 years ago, because the percentage I just gave you then was regards to a season 2015-2016. And that's just estimated, as I said. But if that went up that much at that particular season, yeah, by 9%, the revenue went up. What is it gone up by now? Now, I've seen figures, don't get me wrong, I've seen figures, but obviously a lot of the websites and what have you, they're not saying that it's an exact figure, they're estimating it, this, that and the other. So there's stats, you know, and you can go and do the research yourself, guys. There is stats with regards to how much clubs are increasing their revenue. And like I said, I didn't want to get caught out being misquoted, so I think it's safe for the moment just to stay away from actually quoting them. Hence why I've gone back a few seasons to give you a little bit of stats from that particular season. So if the revenue went up for clubs by 9% in that particular season, that was 3, 4, 5 seasons ago? Well, yeah, about 3 or 4 seasons ago. I'm not sure exactly. How much has it gone up now? Because one thing I noticed while I was looking up the research on the internet was that you had graphs. And on these graphs, you could see the revenue going up season after season after season. This is not like going up like every 5 years. This every season, the revenue is going up, whether it's broadcasting money, whether it's ticket revenue, whether it's, you know, other money coming in. And one thing we noticed, I think it was last season or the season before, we saw that that clubs were starting to get new deals on the shirts with regards to the side of the shirt, the sleeve of the shirt, and they were now starting to put adverts on the side of the shirt. Now that's brand new revenue. That's absolutely brand new revenue that they never had before. Yeah. So why is it, this is the question I've got to ask, why is it if the club is making, say, I don't know, an extra 3-4% of revenue off this new sleeve deal by advertising whatever company or whatever it is that they've got on the sleeve. If they're making 4%, why can't they use 1% of that to bring the price of a pie down? to bring the price of a pint down, to bring the price of a ticket down for you guys. You guys are the fans, do you know what I mean? And this is where I get really frustrated with the amount of money that is going into the leagues, because I think that clubs are taking you for granted. And the reason I say this is because when we see managers, players getting interviewed, we always hear them say, oh, there's no, you know, we won't be nothing without the fans, great support. Well, I'm sorry, but from my point of view, that's cheap talk. And the reason I say it's cheap talk is because they're doing it to keep you on side. They're saying these things to keep you on side. But while they're saying that, the club's still putting up the ticket prices. The club's still putting up the price of a shirt, the price of a pie, the price of a pint, or whatever it is. What you go to your club. When you go to your club and support your team, I want to know from you guys, are you seeing that revenue that they're making, are you seeing that they're reducing the ticket price for one, reducing the price of any of the stuff that you can buy within the ground, i.e., condiments or whatever you want to call it, drinks, things like that, or shirt prices? Are you seeing that? Because I'm not going to mention this particular club, because I'm going to talk about this other clubs individually further down the line. But I know one club in particular this season, I believe, has already increased the price of a shirt. Now, I don't know how many other clubs have done it, but I've heard of one particular club that's done it. And the reason it comes to mind for this particular club is because this particular club, as far as I'm concerned, has got absolutely no right whatsoever to put up the price of a shirt. And the reasons for that would be obvious to those fans that support that particular club. As I say, at this moment in time, I'm not going to say that particular club's name. Most of us, you're probably guessing it straight away. But the fact of the matter is, I think you guys should be seeing a little bit, even if it's only 0.5%, even if it's only 0.5% that's being passed down to you guys. These clubs are making astronomical amounts of money, as I said earlier on in the video. So why are we not even seeing 0.5% being passed down to you guys? The clubs could come out and we dropped it, we did this, we did that, so we have passed it on a little bit. But no, I'm sorry, I don't think it's been significant enough for you guys as fans to appreciate it, to be felt like your club is truly appreciating your loyalty and your basically the passion that you guys show. That you paid ticket prices, you're paying for shirts. To me, as a fan, I don't know what you guys think, but to me as a fan, it's like a cow being milked. It's like, how much more can we? This season we make this much money. How much more? Could we up it by another percent and get another 1% out of the fans, or another 0.5% out of the fans this year, over a broad spectrum of different merchandise, ticket prices, whatever it is? I don't see that these clubs are passing on this, the amount of money they made. I mean, there was something that came out, I think, when this broadcasting deal first kicked in. I heard quite a few fans on other fan channels debating the fact that apparently, and this is only apparently, as I say, don't quote me on it, but apparently with the amount of money that clubs are making now, they could actually afford to still run the club, still make a profit without actually charging for tickets. So if that is actually true, don't get me wrong, we're not expecting the clubs to stop charging us for tickets. We know they're going to charge us for tickets, but why are we not seeing the clubs at least bring the ticket price down slightly? Do you know what I mean? And I don't mean just for season ticket holders. I mean for all fans, because all fans, whether they go to the games on a season ticket, or whether they go to the games just randomly, or whether they just go to the occasional game, it don't matter. We're all fans together. We all support the clubs that respectively, whatever club it is that you support, you go and you put your hard-earned money into that club, whether it's buying the shirts, merchandise, stuff at the ground when you go to watch a game, or tickets. Whatever it is, you are piling money into that club. So you are showing that you love that club. You're showing that you're passionate about it and you want that club to be successful, and you want that club to do you proud, basically. As fans, we all want to see it. And one of the big things that should be talked about, and I may do a video about it further down the line, guys, is about, is there enough players playing for the shirt? Are they playing, is there enough players out there that's really, truly, and in the old days when I was growing up, I remember it was quite common hearing a famous particular quote where, oh, he's playing for the badge. You could see he's playing for the badge. And that's people used to talk like that. They used to say that a player was playing for the badge and they could see it on the pitch. And I'm not talking about skill and flair and stuff like that. I'm talking about work rate, desire, commitment to the cause. We all want to see that as fans. I know I do. If you guys don't, that's entirely up to you. But as I think you guys do want to see that. You want to see players playing for the shirt. You want to see players playing for for the badge. You want to see them giving 100%. They don't have to be the most skillful players. They don't even have to have the best game in the world when they play, when they walk out on that pitch. But you want to see commitment. You want to see passion, and you want to see them give 100% for the shirt, for the badge, and for you as fans. So yeah, guys. Hopefully I haven't got too irate, and hopefully I haven't had too much of a rant, and hopefully you guys are on board with this particular subject, because I think it's something that should be talked about a little bit more, simply because, like I said, guys, the amount of money that's coming into the leagues is crazy. It's absolutely crazy, and it's brilliant for the English game. It's brilliant for Scottish game. I mean, I personally myself, I want to see more revenue coming into the Scottish game, not because I'm Scottish or I'm a Scottish fan, but just because it's good for UK football, guys. It's at the end of the day, we all want to, if UK football does better, it's great for us as fans, because it makes our respective league, whether you're a fan in a Scottish club or you're a fan of an English club, it makes the leagues stronger. One more point I'm going to make before I go, before I call it a day for today's video, should I say for this video, is that if you actually look at some of these stats, we all think that the Premier League is the only league making massive amounts of money. Well, actually, I looked at the stats today, and that's not actually the case. Don't get me wrong, the Premier League is making the most amount of money. Of course it is. We all know that. But if you actually look at the stats, the Championship's making a reasonable amount of money, or at least that's the way the statistics that I looked at earlier on today led me to believe that the Championship is actually doing a little bit better than we're led to believe. The drop actually comes by the stats. Don't quote me on this, but the stats that I looked at today show that the finances actually drop when clubs fall into the first division in England. Now, I've not seen any stats exactly for the Scottish League in that regard, so I couldn't actually comment on that. So you guys in Scotland, if you could leave in the comments below, or on Instagram or whatever, on Facebook, because we are on Facebook also, guys. If you guys want to let me know what you think, or what you know about what the state of the revenue situation is in Scotland. But I know that I looked at the stats today and late last night, that I saw that some of the money going into the leagues is actually more than actually what I realised. I knew that Premier League was making massive amounts. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the Championship is making vast amounts of money. I'm not saying that at all. But they're actually doing a bit better than we're led to believe. Because if you go off these charts and these stats and what have you that I looked at, and they're on the internet, guys, go and check them out. Go and have a look for yourself. If you actually look at these stats, you can see that it's when clubs, particularly in the English league, when they drop into that first division, that's when the money really drops. That's when you can see by these stats. Now, I might be wrong. And if I'm wrong, fair dues. But of the stats that I saw today, when clubs really, really start to struggle is when they drop into that first division. The money gap between the Championship and the first division is like that. It's crazy. It's a massive drop. So it sort of explains why we see certain clubs that drop out of the Premier League and then maybe struggle to balance the books, shall we say, in the Championship, and then don't manage to do it and drop into the first division. Then we start to see, these stats start to explain a little bit why we see clubs start going into administration, why we see clubs suddenly, in all sorts of turmoil. Because they cannot, they can't adjust themselves quick enough to compensate for the fact that they've dropped out of a respective division. But yeah, so guys, I just wanted to point that final fact out. We may talk about this a bit more further down the line in another video. I don't know yet. We'll see how it goes. But like I say, guys, I thought it was something that we should be brought to your attention. And as a fan, I think that we should all be a bit more aware of it. Because like I said, guys, we're all passionate about our respective clubs. I know you guys are probably passionate about your club, love it to death, you know, and you feel a loyalty and an affiliation is the word. I hope that's the correct terminology with your club. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for today, guys. So hope you've enjoyed the video. Leave your comments below. That'd be much appreciated. If you like the channel, I'll be much appreciated if you subscribe, because that's how the channel's going to grow and how we can talk about and debate more stuff like this. Obviously, as you know, if you've been watching the other videos, you do know that the channel is pretty much brand new. As you know, it's not even been going a week yet as I put this video on. So yeah, guys, if you like what you're seeing, it'd be much appreciated if you could support the channel. If you choose not to and it's not for you, I understand. I'm no problem. That's what it's all about. It's all about different opinions. But yeah, if you do like the channel, it'd be much appreciated if you could drop a like, subscribe and share, because as I say, the channel is brand new and obviously I want to get it out there for all fans so that we could try and build, as I've been saying on my Instagram, trying to build a strong fan community. And the reason I highlight that is because one thing I'm going to finish the video off with, it should be started to be, you guys need to start thinking like this and start saying it, you know, show your passion, show your loyalty, you know, to your club. I'm 100% behind you with that. But one thing your club needs to know is football is the fans. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care, and hopefully you'll join me on the next video. Bye for now.